Hi Gertie, I've just written a blog. I know I haven't done one for a couple of weeks. It felt too good, but I finally got round to it. And this one's about letting other people be themselves. I've written it because of a few conversations I've had with a few of you lately, and how when you're not getting on with other people, when things are annoying you about other people, or something's happened with I don't know, people you meet just in the street or in the shop or at your doctor's, and you get really annoyed and agitated with them because they're not doing what you want. And I realised it's something that I've been trying to work on, I suppose, since being ill, because I wanted a more peaceful life, a more relaxed way of living, if you like. I I wanted to stop getting angry and agitated with the world and his dog. I know I can bite very quickly, and I know I'm quite quick-tempered, as you know, and I didn't want to be that way anymore. And don't get me wrong, it hasn't just, disappeared, way with fairies, but it's it's still there. I do jump at things and still get mad quickly, but I'm a lot better at it. And after reading a lot of stuff as usual, I realised that I needed to start letting them be, rabbit's ears out, letting them be themselves. And one of the things that happened was an argument I had with David some time ago, and we were rowing, and I get all, I'm quite fiery and passionate, and shout a lot and rant a lot, and then I calm down. And then once I've calmed down, I can talk and I can be quite civil, but I have to have that like outburst because it's just the way I am. I don't know why. It's like I have to release the, I don't know, the anger, if you like, and then I can calm down and we can talk. David, on the other hand, would be able to just sort of, I don't see him get angry very often, but he would just talk, he'd just sit down, talk it through, be calm about it, and that's it. And at this point, I was all annoyed, and he turned round and he said, "Stop being so aggressive. Just, sit down and we'll talk about it. That's the way I'd do it." And I stopped for a minute and I thought, "But I'm not you." And I said, "You start being aggressive. You start being like me." And he just sort of looked at me, and I said, "You're asking me to be like you. You're expecting me to behave like you, and I'm not you. That's silly." So that was one of the things that sort of made me want to write this. And the other thing is watching my brother Mark, obviously Uncle Mark to you, but he's brilliant the way he handles people. I've watched people getting really agitated and angry with him, and ranting and everything, and over things. He's big in his church, and he's working as a teacher. So he's had to deal with a lot of people giving him grief at times, and he's just sort of stood there and he's gone, "Yeah, uh-huh, mm-hmm, okay, yeah." Or even his own kids, getting annoyed, and "Yeah, mm-hmm, okay." And they eventually wear themselves out. They're so busy going "La, la, 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 la," like this at him, that at some point they realise that they're not getting anywhere shouting at him. So they just stop, and eventually it hits a point where they're both calm, and he goes, "Okay, right, what can we do to fix it then?" And I watch him in awe, because he's just got such a good way of coping with it. And what I realise is that me getting angry, me getting annoyed at somebody really quickly, and because they're not doing what I want them to do, is almost, I don't know, is it selfish? It's a bit silly. It's just listening to you guys talking about somebody who's upset you or somebody who's not doing what you want. You sort of think, but they're different people. They're not you. They're not going to behave in in the way you would. So you almost have to take a step back and think, all right, that's what you do. That's the way you behave. For instance, I had a bit of a run-in with one of the doctor's receptionists a little while ago, and she was quite rude and wasn't helpful at all. And normally I would get quite arsy and I'd stand there arguing back and be rude back basically. And because I've been trying to have this way of living and way of doing things, I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna step back, and you clearly are not in a good mood this morning. You've either got out of the wrong side of bed or this is just the way you are. And I stayed calm because I sort of detached myself. I managed to stay calm. I managed to just sort of let her get on with it. And she started to calm down because there was nobody to argue with. I wasn't arguing back. So I just said, okay, I, that's fine, but I still need to sort this out. What can I do? And in the end, she was really helpful. And I don't know as I would have got the same result if I'd have stayed shirty with her, if I'd have got all funny with her. And the other bit that I've learned from all of this is that I feel better for it. I'm not all wound up and annoyed and cross and like I used to be. I just walk away thinking, right, got that sorted, great, that's done, lovely. They're all right, I'm all right. Jobs are good and really. So it just it's just, nobody's perfect. And I think everybody is doing the best they can in the only way they know how. We've all been brought up differently. We've all got different backgrounds and, so we all do things differently. But I think sometimes expecting other people to change their behaviour for you um, is asking too much. I think if nothing else, you've got to meet in the middle. And I know, like when I was years ago, I was always writing. I remember writing down, which is the start of the blog, writing down how Mark was annoying me and Dave was driving me mad and Mum was doing this and Dad was doing this. And if they all just changed, if they all started doing things differently, I could be happy. And obviously, 40 odd years later, I realised that that's not the way it works. I'd got to change, I'd got to do things differently and not accept the way I was being treated and behave differently so that they would treat me differently, if that all makes sense. So I guess what I'm saying is try and stop getting wound up about other people and what they're doing. Think about what you're doing and how you can change or how you can just accept that this is who they are, this is what's happening, and and live with it. It is a case of accepting it. Some things you can change, some things you can compromise on, and if you can, great, everybody's happy. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you've just got to accept, do you know what? This is you, this is me. We're going to have to, split the difference and just accept our differences. And you'll find it's an easier way to live. It's a calmer way to live. Um, So I think that's the message I wanted to get over to you, and we've managed to get through without cars, boats, trains, planes, phones going up. So that's it for this week. It's short and sweet, I think. So I'll leave it there. I love you lots. Okay, see you soon. Bye.